Hi, I'm Simon from CramTheExam and welcome to another video where I walk you through an English exam question, explaining what the answers are and why I think the answers are the answers. In this video, I'm going to have a look at the FCE First Listening Paper Part 4, and this question you can find on the excellent website virtuale.com, and you'll find the link to both the website and to the listening question in the video description below. Make sure you go check out the website. It is full of resources. It's new to me. I've only just found it, and my word, this website, maybe even by itself, can help you get ready for the FCE exam. Okay, let's go through the listening question. It's a longer listening. You've got a number of questions about one listening, multiple choice of course, and you've got to listen, as always, for those vocabulary links, contextual links that give you the correct answer. So for question number 24, or rather the question says you will hear an interview with Pamela Green, a young fashion designer. For question 24, the question is, what helped Pamela to decide to become a fashion designer? And the answer is B, doing research into the fashion industry. And we can see, if we break down the text, we can see why. First of all, Pamela says, you must first discover if this is really what you want to do. I wasn't sure to begin with. So in other words, this is helping Pamela decide to become a fashion designer. Then it says, she looked for a store in a neighbourhood, sold its own clothes. The owner invited me to a studio and told me what a typical day like. She allowed me to ask as many questions as I wanted. If you're asking questions, you're finding out about things. If you're finding out about things, you're doing research. And that's why the answer is B. She didn't work as an assistant in the fashion shop. At least nothing is said here about working as an assistant, and nothing is said here about attending a course on fashion design. So also by processes of elimination, you can also get the answer, which is B. For question 25, what does Pamela say about having a degree in fashion? She says, the underlined text says, but there's no denying that a degree will show that you've got the certain basic skills and get you your first job. In other words, that a degree will tell people that you have a certain ability, that it evidences your ability. You see where I'm going with this. It's B for the answer. It doesn't. There's nothing in here that says it's essential for promotion, because later on she says that if you make progress, it's down to your own personal talent. And there's nothing about guaranteeing you a better income, because it says don't be surprised to find colleagues with fewer qualifications on higher pay than yourself. So qualifications doesn't automatically mean better income. So also through process of elimination, you can get to B. 26. Pamela says that when starting your own fashion label, it's most important to enjoy the creative process, contact shops that might sell it, have a business plan. Now, she says, starting your own line requires capital and a clear overview of how it's going to develop. What she's saying in more words than is necessary is that you need a business plan. This is what a business plan is. It requires having money and deciding what you're going to do with that money and how your business is going to develop. So that's why the answer in this case is C. Does she say enjoy the creative process? She says that you need work experience. You need to work experience in a fashion shop. She says you've got to have an eye for colour, style and shape, but nothing here specifically about enjoying the creative process. And she doesn't say it's most important to contact shops that might sell it, although she does talk about commerce, which is buying and selling. But the main gist, the vocabulary links link to a business plan. For question 27, where does Pamela usually find inspiration for her fashion designs? She says you've got to be aware of the world you live in. You need to look at people's lives' attitudes. You really have to observe what's happening around you. And then she starts talking about herself, and that's important because the question says, where does Pamela usually find inspiration. Not where do you find it, or where does she suggest you find it, where does she find it? And she says, my social circle is invaluable for me. For example, a constant source of ideas. So this links to C, in the clothes her friends wear. Everything else are things that you should be aware of, but the thing that she finds, Pamela herself finds inspiration from, is in C. For 28, what aspect of her work does Pamela find most difficult to deal with? She says it took a while to deal with criticism. Okay. But then she says what I've never managed to get used to. What I've never managed to get used to, and this is a clear link to finding most difficult to deal with, is the sheer amount of work in finishing your collection well in advance or well ahead of the season. That's what she finds it hard, and that of course links to A. B is the trap for B is the talk about criticism at the beginning. The trap for C is what she says about other designers at the end. So there are plenty of traps in this question, but through careful process of elimination you can get the correct answer, which is A. And of course the deadline is the beginning of the season. According to Pamela, successful designers need to be able to what? Predict future fashions, recognise all past styles, get the designs published. Now, she says here, nobody knows what styles will be fashionable in, say, 2 years' time. So predicting future fashions is out. She talks about reading fashion magazines and other media, not getting your designs published. C is out. She does say, but the point is you have to know just about everything that's been done before. So rather she's looking backwards, and that links to B, recognising all past styles. For question 30, what advice does Pamela have for people who want a career in fashion? The general gist of this is that designing outfits is one part of a very wide industry, and we can see that exactly here, one part of a vast industry. And that industry requires lots of other different things, small pieces, jewellery, hats, shoes, etc., etc. Someone's got to do it. When we take all of those things into account, the only answer that makes any sense is be aware of the options available. And that's why I think the answers are the answers. Now, of course, it's easy to go through the listening text and dig this out. But the whole idea of this is that it'll help you review the listening exercise. If you did the listening exercise and you didn't get full marks, then go back and see if you can hear these pieces of information that gives you the clue. Very often when you're preparing for the listening exam and all you want to do and you're trying to prepare for listening, one great way to do that is to listen to the same thing again and try to make sure you hear the information which is being said. And in that way, you tune your ears in over a period of time to catching pieces of vocabulary. Because it's very easy when you're listening for everything to become a background blur of noise. It's very, very difficult to listen to something, get a good idea of what I call global context, as well as picking out key pieces of vocabulary. And the only way to do that, unfortunately, is practice, and also redo. So that would be my one key piece of advice before you go off and do your exam. Redo the listening exercises that you've done already, perhaps, and see if you can tune in again to hear those pieces of information. Okay, that's it from me. If you've got any questions about any of my explanations, or if you think I'm just plain wrong, then let me know in the comments section below and I will get back to you. See you again soon.